The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and I have got another Power Rangers Lightning Collection toy review for you. Two Mighty Morphin figures for you today. Very, very fitting that these two should be reviewed together. We have got Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger Kimberly and Mighty Morphin Green Ranger Tommy. Tommy, I pre-ordered months and months ago, to be honest, and I know that it was delayed at least twice, but finally came in probably a week or two ago. And believe it or not, this girl over here was even harder to find. This is the original release, one of the very early waves, whereas Green Ranger Tommy is a newer release, I believe. Previously had been part of a 2-pack with the putty, but on its own, a newer release. Again, you can tell because Kimberly has the Sabans on Power Rangers, while Green Ranger Tommy does not, showing that this is a much newer figure. So I was going through my Lightning Collection figures and realized that I was very close to completing Mighty Morphin. And for the record, I am not counting the metallic figures. The metallic Pink Ranger Cat is out there, and they're gonna do the other ones. We know they're gonna do the other ones. The best thing about that is that that's probably how we'll get the Stone Canyon Trio in Mighty Morphin suits, Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. Will probably be through metallic red, metallic black, and metallic yellow Mighty Morphin figures. I'm not 100% interested in those. I might pick some of them up, I might not, but I don't consider that part of completing Mighty Morphin. To complete Mighty Morphin for me, you need to have Jason, Billy, Trini, Zach. You need to have Tommy as both White Ranger and Green Ranger. You need to have Lord Draken, and you need to have Ranger Slayer. So that's 8 right there. For the Rangers, there's Goldar, there's Lord Zed, there's Zordon and Alpha. You know, I have those two. I don't have Rita because I didn't get the Zed and Rita wedding set. But regardless, these two figures coming in completes Mighty Morphin as far as the Rangers for me. And so I was really looking at just needing Kimberly, and I finally decided to bite the bullet a little bit. I found one on Amazon, and I want to say it was like $38, which is a bit pricey when these Lightning figures normally go for $20, but even seeing Kimberly available at all has become a bit rare, so I just decided to go ahead and bite the bullet on that one and get this figure so that I would have it. Now I have red, blue, yellow, black, pink, white, green, and I should be able to form the Power Blaster, so that'll be pretty interesting. So we're going to be taking a look at the star-crossed lovers, if you will, seeing as they didn't end up together, but they were in a relationship for a good portion of the show, and a lot of people ideally in their minds think that that is what happened, even if various aspects of canon say otherwise. We are going to start by taking a look at Tommy, because I want to save Kimberly for the end to get the bow in with the Power Blaster and etc., etc. So we're going to start with Tommy, and then we'll move to Kim. The backing card is yellow and green. Maybe they're learning. Those are the right colors. The extra hands are a closed fist and kind of an open, what I would almost call dragon flute playing hand. To try to show it to you on the back there to get you a better sense of like how the fingers are open and everything. Here is a look at Tommy, the Green Ranger. Very interesting figure. Well painted. The gold is all very shimmery and shiny, definitely the right shade and everything. One thing I will say, and I did find this interesting, the shield does not come off. It's attached to armbands below, which are canon, but interestingly enough to me, if you lift the shield up under the chest, there's not a diamond painted under there. I only find that interesting because, you know, we had those canon moments on the show where the shield would be passed on. So I can understand not making that a possibility for this particular figure. Even though we've had regular line Green Ranger figures where the shield came off and you could pass it along. But to not paint that under the chest, if you're a little more cynical about it, you almost feel like that ties in. Like they decided not to make it transferable specifically because they didn't want to paint under the chest. You also have the bands on the arms, and those wouldn't come off regardless. But, you know, it's a minor thing. I will say no silver stripe on the helmet. The morpher is gold like it's supposed to be. Nice little holster there. We come to the back. You know, nicely detailed, nicely put together figure, as usual. Not a lot to really say. Very, very pretty Sword of Darkness figure. Whoops. Very, very pretty Sword of Darkness figure that comes with this, painted on both sides. Very nice details. The one thing for me, and this is nitpicky, but I mean, it's just spoke to me right away. I kind of wish that this was actually a tassel, like a small little piece of rope. I mean, I can maybe kind of understand why it wasn't, but that just seems like it would be a nice touch to me to have that actually be a little rope tassel. But that's very nice. We come to the Dragon Dagger, and to be honest, it's the same one that comes with the Lord Draken Lightning Collection figure. It's not painted gold up the middle, which definitely takes a little something away. I just decided to go and check by looking over at the display, and I didn't want to bring those pieces over because a lot of my display setup is very tenuous where it can fall down very easily, so I'm very nervous about touching a lot of that stuff. But I did look, and the Lightning Collection Lord Draken Dragon Dagger is not painted gold up the blade, but the Bandai Legacy one is. So that's interesting. That's just a weird additional little step back. Otherwise, this is pretty good. Zappies! This is clearly intended for the Sword of Darkness. It would just be hanging onto the very edges of the Dragon Dagger, but there you go. All of my strength and my incredible 90s mullet are pledged to serve my Empress, Sikia. There's Tommy's human head. I think this is one that they did very well on. This is very clearly channeling, very clearly the Green with Evil look with the headband and the mullet and everything. The hair is very well detailed. The face is pretty accurate. I think they did pretty well there. Alright, so as we move to matching the back of the box, the first thing you might notice is that Tommy is leaning against the wall, and that is going to factor in. I know this is a very small point because a lot of people that get these figures, that spend $20 on these figures, they get the figure stands, or, you know, they're not necessarily trying to match the back of the box or anything like that. But the reason that I continue to bring this up as an issue is just because I really do feel like the back of the box is an advertisement. The back of the box, you take this thing off the peg at the store and you turn it around and it's like, oh, this is what this beautiful figure looks like, and a way that you can pose it at your house. And then you get it back home and no, it doesn't actually pose that way because the back of the box is a CG render that doesn't actually represent how the figure can properly stand. So for posability to the back of the box, the figure is going to get a C-. The legs move like they're supposed to, and that arm holding the Sword of Darkness could go back a little bit further to actually get the sword behind the helmet, but that actually is what ties in. Having that arm back there upsets the balance of the figure, and it keeps wanting to fall backwards, which is why he's leaning against the wall like that. It's a good pose, but I don't think it's one that's really possible for this figure without some kind of figure stand involved. Now, as far as matching the aesthetics of the back of the box, the more I look at it, the more I spot little things. And some of them are kind of small details. One weird thing that stands out to me is that on the back of the box, there are these straps on the shoes on the boots that are very pronounced. I can kind of see them on the figure, but they don't stand out nearly as much. On the Dragon Dagger he's holding, the mouthpiece section is silver. On the actual Dragon Dagger in the box, it is black. The shading on the energy that goes around the Sword of Darkness is a much darker green on the back of the box as opposed to what is in the box. The sword matches up pretty well. It's a little difficult to tell just because it's kind of shadowed on the box, but it looks like that matches up pretty okay. The main other thing that stands out is you might notice that the suit on the box is very reflective, very shiny. It makes it look like almost an emerald type of a look, and it's not on the figure. There again, I tend to give the point to the figure. In reality, the color is going to be a little more flat, unless, of course, it is the metallic armor. So that doesn't need to be that shiny. So I think that this is that is an improvement for the figure itself. But otherwise, yeah, there are some surprising misses on here. Where the figure could have looked a little bit better. It's not bad, though. Well, that's Tommy Oliver taken care of. Now to head to the command center and pick up those White Ranger powers. But I don't want to have this dragging on any longer than it has to. That is it for my review of the Green Ranger figure. Again, I think this is a good-looking figure. I'm glad they did issue one that's a little more canonical to not Fighting Spirit, you know, but the normal look of the suit. No silver stripe, right-colored morpher. You know, everything accurate to that. It's more than good enough. I was a little nitpicky again, but it's a more than good enough looking figure. And I definitely think that you should grab this one if you can. This is a newer one, if I'm remembering correctly, so I don't think you'll have too much difficulty finding it. So give that a grab. All right, let's move on to the Pink Ranger. Light pink and dark pink, kind of a purplish for Kimberly's backing card. Definitely acceptable. Landed right on top of the other one. Kim's extra hands are a closed hand and a choppy hand. So here is Pink Ranger, and there's one thing that stood out to me about this right off the bat. And honestly, with the lights, I'm not sure if it shows up as strongly on camera as it does looking at it with the bare eyes. But that is that her arms and her chest are not the same color. Maybe that light pink, dark pink on her card was more appropriate than I thought. Her arms are a lighter shade of pink that I think is the more correct version of pink. But the chest and down on this skirt here, which by the way, this piece up to the belt and the morpher is a skirt that you can kind of tug up and down. But they're almost purple. And again, like I'm looking at this on the viewfinder and you might think I'm crazy because it doesn't quite look the same. It looks all kind of the same color on the viewfinder, but I'm telling you, looking at this with your own eyes, it doesn't really look the same. The other thing that stands out to me, and this may be more of a personal complaint, because I do know that with these figures, they try to base them a little more on realistic proportions and whatever, and I know that Amy Jo Johnson is a gymnast, and etc., but this is another one of those really thin, frail female Ranger figures. Her arms are very thin. They're toothpicky. I hate using that term with these figures, especially with female figures, but they are some toothpicky arms. Her legs aren't too bad. Those actually kind of hold up okay, but her arms are not the best. The top of her helmet does have that ridge for the pterodactyl, but it seems for some reason a little smoother than it should be. I do find it interesting that there is an opening crease, if you can see it right there. I might have to zoom in a little bit, but there's like a crease there where the helmet would actually open. That's a nice little detail. Morpher looks good. Coin looks nice. Take a look at the back here. Her shoulder joints kind of really stand out on the back of the figure, but with her arms being that small, that makes sense. Sometimes I say that there's one accessory in the box that really kind of makes it worthwhile. Sometimes that's because of how good it looks. Sometimes that's because of what it is. This is definitely a case of what it is. Here we have Kimberly's power bow, which, to be honest, is not very well painted. It's just white and red. But these notches on the back, they tell you what it's really for. And don't worry, I'll be showing you that in just a moment. We'll give kudos to the fact that it comes with both a regular arrow and an energy arrow, giving you the choice of whether you want that to be, you know, about to fire or firing. Same blade blaster, which I really think could use some white, but there you go. Like, oh my god, guys, I ran into, like, Goldar and Rita in the park, and I think they did something to my face. Does my face look weird? Does my face look weird? Okay. Here is Kimberly's human head, and as you might get from my rather weird joke just there, some people have criticized this as one of the less accurate human heads in Mighty Morphin. I do tend to agree. I can kind of see where they're going, but there's just something kind of uncanny valley about it that just doesn't quite work for me. For some reason, I think it might have been better if she had a ponytail. I don't know why, though. It's just a thought. All right, imposter Kimberly head. Any last words?
No, like it's me, I swear, OMG.
So, interesting thing that I noted about Kimberly and the regular arrow, and I'll pick it up to show you here in a second. The notches on the back of the power bow are definitely for the other power weapons and the energized arrow. So I looked for a minute or so on where to attach this regular arrow so it would stick, and you don't attach it anywhere on the bow. The other hand that Kimberly has that she has on her in the box has split fingers to hold an arrow the way that she would hold an arrow to pull it back. It's kind of neat, I think. This is a good figure, I think. I feel like it could have been better, and I don't even want to, like, think about applying the fact what I paid to get this figure. You know, just even at the $20 price point, I kind of wish that the arms were a little bigger. I wish that the color on the figure was consistent. I wish that the power bow was painted better. But, it's representation in the line. You gotta love that. Gotta get it where we can. So I'm glad to have it. But now comes the part that you all have been waiting for, seeing that I had Kim, and now I have all 5 main MMPR. So, I'll be right back. Power Axe. Power Bow. There. Power Daggers. Power Lance. Possibly the small pieces that you left sitting in the box and had to go get. Power Sword. And there she is, folks. There is the Power Rangers Power Blaster. Full admission, I did have to look up exactly where weapons went and everything. And you may notice, again, Trini's daggers are badly warped. That was just a result of shipping, unfortunately. Hopefully it'll be less noticeable in Power Blaster formation, which I will definitely only be displaying them as. I do think it looks really good. I do kind of wish, and I mean, I'm going to check really quick here to be sure. I do kind of wish there were some holding clip up here to, like, secure the sword blade. It just kind of points up, but I mean, it's part of it. It attaches back here. You may have noticed the best way to put that in to that clip is to put it in sideways and then turn it in, almost like a little lock. There it is. Come on! I'm including that. I'm showing that in the friggin' video. That I was that close. And Billy's not holding it anymore. And Billy's not holding it anymore. Power Blaster! Ready, fire! So, this was fun. And now I have to take them and put them over there. Yay! Yes, here are the main 5 Lightning Collection figures with their human heads, because that's how I display them. Holding and quote-unquote firing the Power Blaster. Trust me, I don't want to put... I know the effect that Zach comes with, that purple swirling energy ball, will look fantastic coming out of the Power Blaster, and I might try to get it in when I set it up over there, but for trying to get this video done, it was hard enough getting them all to properly stand up and to have their hands where they're supposed to be and all that stuff. But, you know, there we go. That was the shot that was needed. We have the 5 main Rangers holding the Power Blaster. This is how I'm going to display them. I said this off camera, but I just love the hand I have on Zach that's supposed to be going across his chest triumphantly. It more kind of looks like he's going, hey, look at this. Hey, look at that, huh? What do you think? Power Blaster, right? Well, it looks pretty cool. Billy's like, I give this enemy a 0% chance of surviving. And then the girls are back there like, how come the guys hang on to the weapon and we just, like, put our hands on your shoulders? And Jason's like, alrighty here, folks. You may be able to tell by looking at the figure and comparing it to the back of the box, but here's one for you. The back of the box posability for this figure gets an F. There's a couple of different reasons for that. The bow and the arrow and everything about that is incredibly confusing to me. I think the energy arrow on the back of the box is far shorter than the one that you actually get. And it has to, like, it doesn't attach really anywhere on the bow. You can see on the box that it is in front of the bow, so it doesn't attach anywhere on the back of the bow. It, like, I've got it kind of wrapped around her fingers. She has shooting hands on both sides. You may notice in some of these shots that the bow kind of jumps back and forth. I'm not entirely sure which hand it's supposed to be in. It looks like it might be her left hand, but, you know, the two hands seem very similar, so it's possible I got confused as I went on with everything. But also, this is one of those early Wave Lightning Collection figures where the feet don't twist traditionally. They're on that, like, side swivel, so she can definitely not do this stuff at all with her legs together like that. Her suit seems one consistent color. The lining on the helmet seems better. The suit texture actually looks a little bit better on the back of the box. I will say the bow is, for the most part, just as unpainted on both, which I find interesting. I swear the power bow has more paint on it than that. But yeah, this one doesn't quite get a strong recommendation from me, sad to say. That's going to do it for another Lightning Collection review. This video was of the Pink Ranger Kimberly Lightning Collection figure, and the Green Ranger Tommy, who will get to poke his head in here. literally. The Green Ranger Tommy figure. I give them both tenuous recommendations. Pretty good figures, but that definitely could use some work. Kimberly has some stuff that they hopefully kind of fixed. Not anything too terrible on Tommy's figure. And there's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for you. I have now completed the main Ranger set. So there's that. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like the video by hitting the thumbs up button right down below. While you're down there, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of these figures. And we'll say any of these figures on the screen, specifically Kimberly or Tommy. But any of the Mighty Morphin Lightning Collection figures, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you have them? Do you want to get them? Did this video impact your opinion one way or another? Let me know that down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to see all of my videos and ring the bell. Get your notifications set up so you're notified whenever I post any brand new videos, such as these Power Rangers toy reviews. If you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel to help me get more of these Lightning Collection figures, you can check me out on Patreon or Ko-fi, both Orange Ranger videos. And you can also check out my Teespring store where you can get lovely t-shirts and cups and masks and just anything like that. That's teespring.com/stores/OrangeRangerVideos, I believe it is. Thank you so much for watching, heroes, and until next time, may the power protect you.